Hey there! Happy Easter! Yay! I'm, as you know, most of you, recording this on Fridays, so it's a little weird to be like Happy Easter today, but it's not that weird because it's Easter weekend. Hi. Okay, I think this is episode 22 of Be Salty. We are going to talk about Peter today. I love Peter so much. He is so human. It messes up so much, and Jesus just pulls him in. First, I'm going to start with a little anecdote about our home. We are a house that's small house, great yard. It's kind of our vibe. And this week we've had a lot of sprinkler editing. So much of our backyard is, there's like a lot of dirt, like the lines dug up, etc. So it's kind of a mess because it's also been kind of wet, damp. In addition, we are a small house, great yard. However, for the entirety of our time at this home, which has been since 2017, April 2017, almost exactly, what's the math? 6 years, wow. We've done a lot of work in the backyard, transforming it. That said, there has always been a line, a white trash line through the whole yard, and it drives me crazy. So we had AT&T come, this was several years ago, and they replaced it with like that spec, whatever, I don't even know. I'm not going to act like I know. Replaced it and cut down, but they couldn't like get rid of it. They just made it thinner. I was like, that didn't really help. I mean, it did, but it didn't. So there's still this line, truly from our back fence to the house. And you look outside, and me, who's critical, sees this great yard and then this line. So this week, because we had all the sprinkler stuff already happening, we thought, what can we do? Oh, sorry. When AT&T came, they're like, we can't dig it under. This was like mid 2020 and no one was trying hard at anything, myself included. And they said, we can't bury it. You're going to have to blah, 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 blah. So we just kind of moved on with our lives. Because of all the sprinkler stuff down, the muddy, the mess, decided to call him back out again and say, hey, can we move this line? Can we da-da-da-da? So the guy comes and I tell him that we have this idea of moving the router to our little like back, it's not a back house, it's like it's attached to the garage. So the line runs shorter distance rather than the whole yard. And he was like, yeah, well, you're not gonna have any internet. And I said, well, what about, and this was Crawford's point, all the mansions in the world that have one router, like that distance would be the distance of a big house. We have a small house, big yard. So he was like, no, you don't understand, sweetheart. They have like a mesh system built in and like da-da-da-da-da, like a media room and all those things. And I was like, okay, whatever. He goes, well, we can bury it. I was like, what? You can bury it? He said, yeah, I'll do it today. I was like, are you kidding me? This is way too good to be true. So he said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And he spoke like, the teacher in Charlie Brown. And I'm just like, okay, you're going to get that line down, aren't you? And I was like, are you going to cut it today? He said, yeah, it's going to be gone today. And then they're going to come in the next 10 days, the proverbial they, to bury it. But I'm going to put it where it's supposed to go. So all they have to do, I'm going to dig it under this sidewalk here that goes through your yard. Like, it's going to be so easy for them. So I went on a walk with a friend and went to do a little work at a coffee shop. And then my boy Ryan called me and he was like, I did it. It's gone. So I sped home and took about 6 videos of our backyard without this line in it because it is so glorious to look without the line. Now there's still mud all over the ground and it's all messed up. But like the view up top is great. Changes the whole yard. Hold that thought. Promise I'll get back to it. Okay, we're going to dig into Peter and how this strange story might relate to him and to you and to me. Okay, so Peter in Matthew 26, 69 through 75, this is the Last Supper. And this is when, that's not true. During the Last Supper prior to this, Jesus tells Peter that he's going to deny him 3 times before the rooster crows on that very day. And Peter's like, Lord, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. So they have come and arrested Jesus, and it's all that same night as the Last Supper. And this is in Matthew 26, 69 through 75. Meanwhile, Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard. A servant girl came over and said to him, "You were one of those with Jesus the Galilean." But Peter denied it in front of everyone. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. Later, out by the gate, another servant girl noticed him and said to those standing around, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." Again, Peter denied it, this time with an oath. "I don't even know the man," he said. A little later, some of the other bystanders came over to Peter and said, "You must be one of them. We can tell by your Galilean accent." Peter swore, "A curse on me if I'm lying. I don't know the man." And immediately the rooster crowed. Suddenly, Jesus' words flashed through Peter's mind. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." And Peter went away, weeping bitterly. How much can we relate to Peter? There are so many times in my life when I am not living like Jesus teaches me to live. It's so often. I am the muddy mess in the backyard. And might not be in 3 ways like that, where someone comes to me 3 times a day and says, "You're with Jesus." And I'm like, "Nope, you're with Jesus." "Nope, you're with Jesus." Don't even know him. It's in my thought, it's in my word, and it's in my deed throughout the day. Those are 3 ways throughout the day that I can deny Jesus. Not necessarily outright, "You're not my Lord," absolutely not, but it's a denial of the way he teaches me to live and the reflection of salt and light I'm supposed to be for him that I deny in 3 ways: thought, word, and deed. And as you know, we're instructed to love the Lord our God with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind. Those 3 correlate. Okay, so let's think about how grateful we are for Peter, because without him in the Bible, I just feel like a lot of us would be kind of sitting there going, "Well, we're the worst." And he's just like us. Okay, next piece. This is in Mark 16, 5 through 7. Okay. Mark 16. Can I show y'all how I'm marking the Bible right now? These are with Keka's bows that are sitting in the closet. Oh, I'm in the closet. Hi. Because the children are here. It's Good Friday and they're in there. So I just tried to make do with what I had. And this is her bow sanctuary. Apparently this is where bows get thrown. So that's what we're using. This is Mark 16, 5 through 7. When they entered the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a white robe sitting on the right side. The women were shocked, but the angel said, "Don't be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He isn't here. He is risen from the dead. Look, this is where they laid his body. Now go and tell his disciples, including Peter, that Jesus is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there just as he told you before he died." So right here, the previous thing we talked about, and I believe the previous mention of Peter is when he denies Jesus 3 times before the rooster crows on the day he's arrested. The next day, that's Thursday. The next day, Friday, which is my real time, Jesus is crucified, dies on the cross. Saturday, Friday night, he's in the tomb. Saturday, he's in the tomb. Everyone is devastated. Everyone that believes in Jesus is devastated. This is now Sunday, and the tomb is empty. And this angel, I don't know if it's the angel of the Lord or a angel of the Lord. I feel like there's an article situation there sometimes, but this is a man clothed in white. So he's definitely an angel sent by God. The angel said, "Don't be alarmed. You're looking for Jesus. He's not here. He's risen. Go tell the disciples, including Peter." He voiced Peter. Oh, that just makes me weep. Wanted to specifically say, "Peter, you that denied me 3 times, most recently, I want you. I want you. I still love you. You're mine." That is grace. That is grace that covers all the muddy yuck that we have in our lives, in our yards, in all the ways we deny him with our thought, word, and deed. He still wants us. That is what the cross did. Okay, there's more. Now we are going into Luke 24, 9 through 12. Luke, where are you? Okay, so they rushed back from the tomb to tell his 11 disciples. So these are the women. They're following what the angel told them to do. It's Mary Magdalene and some other people, some great gals. So they rushed back from the tomb to tell his 11 disciples and everyone else what had happened. Oh, here they are. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and several other women who told the apostles what had happened. But the story sounded like nonsense to the men, so they didn't believe it. However, Peter jumped up and ran to the tomb to look. Stooping, he peered in and saw the empty linen wrappings. Then he went home again, wondering what had happened. Y'all, how beautiful. He denies him. He's singled out by God. And then Peter is the one that turns to him and seeks him, goes to find him. He's stooping. They're doubting. He's stooping in, running in. Okay, so this is when we have the yuck. We remember he still wants us. He died for it, every bit of it. That's when we turn and we seek him and we run to him and we stoop to him. Okay? Next piece of our boy Pete. This is John 21, 1-9. My last hairbow marker. Later, Jesus appeared again to the disciples beside the Sea of Galilee. This is the third time Jesus, so he is ascended at this point. Tomb's empty. He's ascended, he's back. He's back walking the earth. Okay, so the third time he appears to the disciples before his ascension to heaven, where he still is, and he's coming back. Are you with me? Maybe. Okay. John 21, 1. Later, Jesus appeared again to the disciples beside the Sea of Galilee. Several of the disciples were there, mentions Peter, Thomas, Nathaniel, and Peter says, yo guys, I'm going fishing. So, because Peter's great, they're like, we'll come too. And they went out on the boat, but they caught nothing all night. At dawn, Jesus was standing on the beach, but the disciples couldn't see who he was. He called out, fellows, have you caught any fish? No, they replied. Then he said, throw out your net on the other side, and you'll get some. And they did, and it was so many fish they couldn't haul the net in. Then the disciple Jesus loved, so this is written in John, and that's John speaking of himself, which is true, said to Peter, it's the Lord. When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his tunic, for he had stripped for work, jumped into the water, and headed to shore. The others stayed with the boat and pulled the loaded net to the shore, for they were only about 100 yards from shore. When they got there, they found breakfast waiting for them, fish cooking over a charcoal fire and some bread. Y'all, Peter runs to Jesus. He's the one that stoops to seek him, and then he's the one that goes to find him. And it tells you, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these things will be added to you. We seek him, and he's there. We have faith and hope that when we seek him, we will find him. Turning from the muck and the mud, remembering he wants us, we go find him. And he's there. And we can run to him with open arms, because he's there to catch us with open arms. Okay, last piece of Pete. This is John 21, 15-19. After breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, Peter replied. You know I love you. Then feed my lambs, Jesus told him. Jesus repeated the question. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, Peter said. You know I love you. Then take care of my sheep, Jesus said. A third time he asked him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question a third time. He said, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Jesus said, then feed my sheep. Did I get it all? I tell you the truth. When you were young, you were able to do as you liked. You dressed yourself and went wherever you wanted to go. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and others will dress you and take you where you don't want to go. Jesus said this to let him know by what kind of death he would glorify God. Then Jesus told him, follow me. 3 times, Jesus tells him to follow him. 3 times he asks him, do you love me? 3 times he tells him to follow me. How many times did Jesus deny Peter? 3 times. How many times are we redeemed from our sins? Every time. Every single time we're forgiven. We can go to him. We see the muck, the mess. We're like, oh dang. We kind of want to hide. And we kind of want to stare at the mess. Nope. We got to remember, he wants us. He loves us. He's calling you by name. Hey, come on. Come on, come see me. Then we seek him. We stoop down. Where is he? God, I need you. I need you. And then we see him and we find him and we run to him and he catches us and he loves us and then he forgives us every single time. Every single time he forgives you. When you get stuck looking at the mess, we all have mess. Look up, see that power line's gone. It's a clear shot. It's a clear shot to Jesus and you have it. And that is what the cross gave us. It is the most important thing you will ever know or learn in your whole life. We mess up. We cannot clean it up. We can't. He can. And he does. And he will. And that is the good news of Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. Love y'all.